Are you getting ready to sell your home here in the East Bay? There is one word that can save you thousands of dollars, protect your sanity, and keep your closing from turning into a disaster. That word is no. I'm going to walk you through 15 situations, real ones I've seen play out right here in the Tri-Valley and throughout the East Bay, where saying no is not just okay, it is necessary. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to feel a lot more confident the next time someone asks you for something, whether that's at the negotiation table or maybe even with your toddler. And be sure to stick around because I have a bonus tip at the end about contingencies that could save your entire deal. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jenn Collins. I help people buy and sell homes and figure out where exactly they want to live here in the Tri-Valley and throughout the East Bay. Most of the people we work with are relocating, upsizing, downsizing, or just trying to make a smart move without regretting it later. And that's exactly what this channel is here for. So let's jump right in. Most sellers think if you're nice, flexible, and say yes to almost everything, your sale goes smoother and your buyer will be more likely to close. That is simply not true. Being a pushover doesn't get you a smoother sale. Sometimes it gets you a longer one, a riskier one, and sometimes even a much more expensive one. The sellers who protect their home, their time, and their bottom line are the ones who close the sale with the most money and the least stress. So here's the question we're answering today. Which of these 15 buyer requests should you actually be saying no to, and why? Let's start with the ones that can literally cost you physical damage or theft. First, the random buyer who knocks on your door and asks for just a quick peek inside. They were just driving by and saw your sign. This sounds harmless. It is not. You don't know if that person is a real buyer or someone scoping out your home, your valuables, or your entry points. Just imagine a husband and wife show up unannounced. You let them in as a courtesy. She asks to use the bathroom while he keeps walking the tour with you. A few days later, you realize some of your jewelry is missing. That is not a hypothetical anyone wants to live through. Let your agent handle every single showing, no exceptions. Second, and this is more common than you'd think here in parts of the East Bay with all of our long driveways, are buyers who want to see if their truck or their boat will fit in your garage. One seller allowed a buyer to test their extended cab truck in the garage. It scratched the wall on the way in, and of course, nobody wanted to own up to it. Save yourself the fender bender and the headaches. The answer is no. Third, do not allow pets at showings. I have a big Bernese mountain dog who often tags along with us to activities, so believe me, I get the instinct. But a showing is not the place for pets. Pets mark their territory, they have accidents, and then some sellers have real allergies that they need to manage. Just imagine a buyer brings their dog in one of those little pet strollers and tells you it'll just nap while they check out the upstairs. 5 minutes later, that dog has jumped out, wandered into your primary bathroom, and left you a surprise to find after everyone has already left. Keep the pets outside. No exceptions there either. Okay, I know some of this sounds like common sense once you hear it out loud, but I promise you, in the moment, when a friendly buyer is standing in your kitchen asking nicely, it does not feel this obvious. That is exactly why I'm walking through all of these scenarios, so the next time it happens to you, you already know your answer. Drop a comment below and let me know which one of these has already happened to you. I'd love to hear your story. If you're planning to buy or sell here in the East Bay, whether that's Castro Valley, Livermore, Alamo, or La Miranda, I'd love to help. Reach out for a complimentary, no-pressure consultation, no obligation at all. And if you're moving somewhere outside of our area, whether that's another part of California or clear across the country, we have an expert-vetted referral network of agents I would send my own family to that I'd love to connect you with. Now, let's talk about buyer requests that can blow up your entire sale, not just cost you a repair bill. Fourth are buyers who want to bring a contractor in early to start painting, before you're even closed. This feels generous to allow, but think about what you're actually agreeing to. If that painter isn't insured and gets hurt in your home, that's your liability. If they spill paint on your floors or on your furniture, who pays for that? Just imagine you say yes, the buyer's contractor comes in, spills some paint across an antique rug you were leaving in the home, and then both buyer and the painter refuse to cover it. Now your closing is stalled over a rug. Hand over the keys at closing, not a day before. Fifth, and this is the hardest no of all, is letting a buyer move in before closing. I understand the temptation, especially when someone tells you a sympathetic story about needing to be out of their current place. But if your deal falls apart, and it can, you are now looking at an eviction, not a simple undo. Just imagine allowing an early move-in because it seems like the only way to keep the deal alive. And then the buyer's financing falls through. Now, you're not just relisting your house, you're evicting someone from it first too. Sixth are buyers asking to use your house for a weekend, just to get a feel for whether it's the right fit. Yes, this really happens. No, you should never say yes. This is exactly what the inspection period is for. Seventh, just say no to lowball offers dressed up with a list of reasons. You don't have a pool, there's no granite, there's no hardwood floors, so they want $100,000 off of your asking price. Here's the thing. Your home should be priced against what similar homes in your neighborhood have actually sold for, not against someone's wish list. We recently saw an offer come in $75,000 under asking, loaded with justifications like this. The seller said no. 2 weeks later, a full price offer came in from a buyer who saw the value and was ready to move quickly. Eighth, say no to requests for free upgrades during the contract period. New HVAC, a remodeled bathroom, updated plumbing, all before the buyer even owns the home. Again, your house should be priced for its current condition. Anything beyond safety and functionality is a project for the new owner on their own dime after closing. Next and ninth are frivolous repair requests during the inspection period, which is the window just after you're in contract when the buyer can have the home professionally inspected. There's a real difference between the plumbing is leaking and I don't like the paint color. The house looked the same when the buyer made their offer. Cosmetic preferences are not your responsibility to fix. 10th are requests to leave behind furniture, patio sets, or even a lawnmower. Personal property is not part of your purchase contract unless you agree to it in writing. Just imagine agreeing informally to leave a few pieces, forgetting the details by closing day, and then having the buyer walk through at the final inspection, find half of it gone, and refuse to close over a chair. 11th are offers with no pre-approval letter or proof of funds attached, meaning the paperwork that shows a lender or the buyer's own bank account can actually cover this purchase. That's an automatic pause. Anyone can put together a document on their computer that looks official. Before you take an offer seriously, that letter needs to be verified. Real buyers expect to be vetted. It's not personal, it's just business. 12th are closing timelines stretching to 60, 90, or over 100 days. 30 days or less is customary. 45 is reasonable. Anything beyond that is just more time for financing to fall apart, for interest rates to move, or for life to just simply get in the way. Just imagine you agree to a 90-day closing. On day 80, the buyer loses their job and can't close. You've now lost 3 months of market time you'll never get back. 13th are unreasonable contingencies, meaning conditions that have to be met before the sale can actually go through. The riskiest version is a buyer who needs to sell their own home first, when that home isn't even listed yet. That's a chain with a broken link, and you don't want to deal with waiting for the buyer to prep their house for sale. Remember how long that took you? Then wait for them to price it to sell quickly, and then wait for them to find a buyer. You've now opened yourself up to tons of market timing and interest rate risks, and you're better off waiting for another buyer who has at least already listed their home for sale, or better yet, has already sold it. 14th, and this one is personal for a lot of people, a friend or family member who just got their license and wants to represent you on your sale. I know it can feel awkward to say no to Cousin Jane, but this is a 6 or even 7-figure transaction. Unless that person has real experience in your specific market and your price point, this deserves a kind but firm no. Your relationship will survive it. And here's a tip. You can always tell Cousin Jane that you're such a difficult client that you'd hate to have family involved in a professional transaction. Finally, that brings us to 15th. Trust your gut. If a buyer is pushing hard to lock up your home fast without any of the paperwork to back it up, that's worth pausing on. We've seen buyers make a habit of tying up property under contract, then using the inspection period to try to renegotiate the price down. We've even had fraudulent buyers offer on a home, and when we've tried to verify their offer with their agent, we never got a call back. Even though their offer was the highest, Sharing this experience with our sellers made them wary enough to choose another offer. Listen, if it doesn't feel right, it's okay to say no, even without a specific reason. So if you're a seller, which of these scenarios should you actually say no to? If you're selling anywhere in the East Bay right now and someone asks to see your home without an appointment or an agent in attendance, or if they want you to move in early, paint before closing, or use your home for a weekend, that is always, always, always no. No matter how nice they seem. If you're dealing with a lowball offer or a request for free upgrades, remember your home should be priced for what it is today, not what a buyer wishes it were. And if a family member wants to represent your sale, it's okay to protect the relationship by choosing an independent professional. And most importantly, if your gut is telling you something is off, even without hard proof, trust it. And I didn't forget, I promised you a bonus, so here it is. If you ever do accept a contingency, like a buyer needing to sell their home first, never accept it without a backup plan. Make sure their home is already on the market and ideally already under contract with its own contingencies removed before you rely on it. And you can build in what's called a kickout clause. That just means if a better offer comes along while you're waiting on their sale, you have the right to consider it. Contingencies aren't automatically dangerous, you just need to understand the terms of them clearly and be prepared for potential pitfalls. Saying no doesn't make you difficult, it makes you protected. The sellers who protect their time, their home, and their bottom line are the ones who leave closing day with the most money and the least stress. If this video was helpful to you, and I hope it was, hit the like button, subscribe to our community, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you know someone who's getting ready to sell here in the East Bay, please share this with them so they can learn what to say no to as well. I'm Jen with the Jenn Collins Group, and we help people make smart, confident moves here in the East Bay, whether that's next month or a year from now. If you're planning to buy or sell your home in the East Bay, I'd love to guide you through the process. Call or text me at the number below to schedule a complimentary, no obligation strategy session with me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.